Alright, Bonehonks, this video is all about Quan. We are on our last cameo here of playing every cameo with Quan, and then we're going to break them all down. So after the games today, we're going to be putting together our list, a little tier list of all the cameos with Quan, who's at the top, who's at the bottom, all that kind of stuff. So if you're here just for the list, I'll put timestamps down below so you can head straight there. But if you're here for Scorpion does some really fun things for us, gives us some really fun combos. Things like that. Obviously we get the damage over time, which works well with the Bone Dome, and that kind of a thing. And then of course for our zoning, a little bit of armor and an overhead just in case we need it, but who knows. I haven't found too much use for that. But yeah, that being said, let's get to the matches.
Accept your death.
Alright, Raiden Jax. Oh, I almost got him with a Scorpion there. I can't really hit him from that, huh? I don't bother spending meter on Bone Dome against Raiden because he's not staying in there anyways. The brakes on that one, quite literally. Oh, no. Does this work? No, I hit Jax, but not our intended target. Damn, what a round.
Take two. Action.
Wasn't sure if that was gonna meaty or not. I'm glad it did.
Quan wins. Action.
The way I just tried to hit Jax with the Bone Dome. Dropped it again. Full screen containment.
Take two. Action.
Sky drop. No. Bump, stop on your head. That was kind of fun, not gonna lie.
Brutality. Quan wins. Action.
Alright, Liu Kang. There we go, trying to instinctively charge Shujinkydink. big jump. Big old jump.
Now know. Take two. Action.
Ooh, smart. No! The whiff punish, that was good. Oh, I got schmixed.
Let us try that again.
You can try these nuts.
Action.
Oh, one got through that time. No, that's a combo. Aw, good hit confirmed. I tried to sky drop, but I found that, like, because I just kind of forget Skydrop exists, I don't use it as a wake up at all, that I often misinput it with the one time I try and use it. It's quite funny.
Action.
So predictable. Just staring at the overhead, not sure what to do.
I'll make you my slave. Take two. Action.
Alright. Look at all! Yeah, that's a super good stagger against Quan because it's so fast. I'm covering all the screen. That was supposed to be Skydrop. That's twice I've tried to use it and it's betrayed me.
Action.
I didn't think that worked. Thank you, Big Chompy. Oh, so close. Skydrop failed me, I think, every single way Skydrop could fail me in that game.
Liu Kang wins.
Alright, so here we are, the list of Quan Chi's cameos. So we're going to have a bottom 3, a top 3, and then a very good and kind of mediocre. There's not really a whole lot of difference between the two middle tiers, to be honest. And I'm not going to go into too much detail because I feel like I did that mostly during the actual videos with the cameos themselves. But yeah. Let's get into it here. So Cyrax's cameo, I think, is a very good cameo for Quan. Gives him a lot of things, a lot of utility, a lot of cool little combo opportunities and things that he can get. It's unfortunate that he doesn't give any health, so we'll expect him to kind of move around as this list goes on. So Darius is very, very close to a top 3 cameo for Quan, like super duper close. I think now he actually might be. I have to play around with him a little bit because he's one of the ones that changed during the middle of all this. So he got a health buff, which is huge for Quan, and just some of the stuff. He could be a little bit higher, but this is kind of where I'm putting him for now because obviously giving Quan Chi 100 health is super duper good. So yeah, that's Darius. Farah, also very good. And we see I'm moving Cyrax down a little bit here. Farah, just like that full screen kind of mix, and you know, plus frames, a little grabby thing, and then 50 health on the top of all that. So also pretty good, pretty viable pick for Quan. And if you missed any of the videos of me playing with these, there's a playlist with all of the footage in there, so you can go back and give that a watch if you want to see some gameplay. Ross, yet again another one who's very good, but just on the bottom here because she doesn't give us any health, and that's one of the clear indicators in this game. I mean, Quan Chi has low health. Maybe in some point in the future you're watching this and that's changed, but at this point in time, he has low health. We need cameos that are going to give us that health. That's super duper important. But the Frost Bomb, you know, giving combos and making Skydrop safe is super cool. Messed around with a little bit of the wall stuff. There's some cool stuff there. Kind of stop people from running away, force them into your armor portal shenanigans. Yeah, super duper good cameo. Goro is a bottom 3 cameo, and a lot of this is just Goro himself. Unfortunately, his cooldowns are just too expensive for the game plan that we kind of want to do. And yeah, then takes health from us on top of that. So yeah, no, Goro is definitely a bottom 3 cameo. There's not too much more to say about that. Janet Cage is also a very good cameo, probably around here, I would say. One of the caveats being, of course, that she doesn't give us any health. And there's only so high up on this list you can be if you don't give Quan Chi any health. But I do think that she's definitely on the higher end of that as things go. Just all the things she can do for Quan, the crazy mix in the corner with the Gento stuff, actual combo damage. She does pretty much everything that we need a cameo to do for Quan other than give health, which is quite a big one. So that being said, that's where she sticks. Jax is right probably in here. Just below, like probably in top 5 territory. 100 health is huge. Enhanced throw combos are huge, especially since we don't have the craziest mix. Trying to rely on some really fake staggers. And then there's some crazy ground pound stuff you can do. Armored ground pound setups, which oddly enough, Quan Chi will get hit by, which kind of sucks. Because yeah, there seems to be kind of a unique thing to Jax where Jax doesn't care about Quan's armor. He's armored up. Jax, that ground pound's hitting you. I'm sure it's some sort of a balance thing, but yeah, Jax is somewhere in there. The 100 health is another thing that bumps him up there on top of all that. And then Energy Wave kind of gives us a little bit of a cushion to the gaps that we have in our strings. So a multitude of things. Jax is great. Jax is great with Quan. Kano is another bottom 3 cameo with Quan. Did get a little bit of a buff recently with like 10 throw damage, like woohoo. That's fantastic. Happy for Kano fans. But yeah, just the things that he does are actually surprisingly good for Quan, like the Kano ball and the Kano knives, and then the mid eye laser, all like decent zoning tools, but they just don't really mesh with Quan that well, and gives us a little bit of different combos, but nothing super duper spectacular. So yeah, the synergy is just not exactly there. I would probably never, well, I would never play this team outside of making this list, so bottom 3 for sure. And here we have our first mediocre cameo, which is Chameleon. And don't get me wrong, Chameleon and Quan do a lot of things. I just don't think the synergy is quite there for taking away 50 health, but she's not a bottom 3 cameo by any means. Chameleon does a lot of stuff, like a lot of stuff. Definitely not a cameo that I would enjoy playing because of trying to manage and keep track of all the different disguises. But yeah, I couldn't find any super crazy combos with her outside of, you know, just like the Jade Glaive stuff and a couple little conversions off of the fan lift. But although the conversions are there and abilities to get damage are there, the damage from that isn't exactly there. So this cameo didn't really blow me out of the water as much as I was actually excited to play it. And I took a lot of time to really go through it and see what it does. So Kung Lao is a very good cameo. Very, very good cameo. Low hat shenanigans, obviously really good. Get some interesting Bone Dome combos from the teleport. Anytime you see a Bone Dome combo, that's super duper good. But yeah, it just doesn't give us any health. Doesn't take any, but doesn't give us any. But I think that low hat, and then the orbiting hat as well, probably has some stuff as well that you could use with it and create some pressure, some kind of get off me type situations. So yeah, that I enjoyed playing Kung Lao Kameo. I really did. Madame Bo is probably at the top of the mediocre cameos, I would say. Gives us health, but I don't know. I didn't really find too much that really meshes with these two. Synergy-wise, you know, a lot of stuff she does is unsafe. The bottles are kind of cool, like adding a little bit of zoning in there, so that's kind of cool. And of course, 50 health is always nice, but I just didn't find the synergy was anything that really blew me out of the water on that one. To go on the opposite side of that, Motaro is probably the top of characters now that doesn't take health from us, because Motaro does everything Quan wants him to do. It covers our gaps, gives us extra zoning with the tail turret. The low shot's fantastic, giving us a little bit of extra mix and pressure in the corner with our armor portals. Super easy Bone Dome hit confirm combos. A reflect on top of all of those kind of things. And yeah, I think Motaro, if Motaro gave any health, I mean, first of all, that'd be pretty broken. But that would be a top 3 cameo for sure. So yeah, he is top of the ladder as far as that goes. One of Quan's best cameos for sure. Movado, I hate to say it, it's kind of somewhere in here. Like, I don't know. Takes 50 health, which he should. Absolute brain dead cameo. Everyone knows how I feel about that. But you know, having said that, gives Quan some pretty cool conversions and some crazy sky drop stuff with the bomb. And a push block if Quan needs it, which is a little expensive, but it is kind of useful. So he's somewhere in here, definitely not on the bottom. Alright, Serena. Serena is a top 3 cameo for Quan. If you're going to play Quan Shi, highly recommend this cameo. Because, yeah, it's just... Kia's blades off of standing 4 is super good. Giving us meter at any time is just incredible. And allows us to use some of our more meter-intensive moves to get more damage. So kind of indirectly gives us a damage buff. Little pea shooter projectile. Can drain your opponent's meter. You get them in the Bone Dome full screen, draining their meter, you put armor portal on them. That's a bad time. The synergy between these two is crazy, and then 50 health on top of all of that makes this a top 3 cameo for sure. Scorpion's kind of mediocre. You know, kind of probably in here, I'd say. Just doesn't really... Some cool looking combos and some fun combos. And then, you know, the little pull you away with the spear things, kind of cool. I didn't really find too many instances of using that. It could be a fun cameo if you really like Quan Chi and Scorpion, but I don't think it's anything too super duper powerful. Sector is a very good cameo for Quan, probably somewhere in here. Yeah, probably in there. The missiles create a lot of damage, and a lot of crazy conversions, and of course kind of lockdown zoning. You get Bone Dome going, throw missiles so they really can't move. They just gotta stay there. Homing missile for the clutch factor, and then of course you've got the fatal blow as well, making Quan's fatal blow projectile is actually insane because he's got a lot of things that might bait people into jumping, so that becomes very useful. Shujinkydink, top 3 cameo for Quan. Showing my bias here a little bit, but I mean, if you look at everything, Shujinkydink makes Quan do combos that can break 400 damage without any meter, and that's insane because now he's a zoner with good combo damage. Gives 100 health, gives extra projectiles, extra launchers, and it gives us entire new arsenal. Just missing an ambush, which he does have, but I mean, if you want to use him as a meat shield that way, which he does get a little bit of advantage of because he has less cooldown time than any other cameo as far as I'm aware when he gets hit. I think that was because they know he has to be on screen to charge. So it's weird when I play other cameos that get hit and it feels like they're gone forever. I think it's like double the time of Shujinkydink. So you feel free to use Shujinkydink as that meat shield, you know? You throw him out there. You'll sometimes your opponent can, you know, blow right through them and hit you anyways, but depending on what it is, he can be kind of a helpful little dude. So definitely a top 3 cameo for Quan. Sonya, I used to think this was a really good cameo for Quan, but now I kind of have her in the mediocre range. You know, the rings are nice. I think that's probably the main thing. The overhead doesn't lead to the greatest damage, doesn't have the greatest conversions. But the little air thing is a little, what's it called? The square wave. Square wave is a pretty good tool to give them and stop people from jumping, or at least punish people from jumping. You can get some pretty fun conversions off of that too. Doesn't give us any health though, and we don't. Her leg grab was just a little bit too slow to be kind of mixed in with our quote unquote pseudo mix. So I think she's pretty mediocre, unfortunately. Striker is a bottom 3 cameo. It's weird putting him here because like the grenades are obviously pretty good. Like if I were to arrange this, I'd probably have it like this, with Striker being the best of the bottom 3. But man, fighting at 850 health, you got to give us more than what he gives us. Some mix, but you know, I don't know. It's we don't really want to be up in people's faces anyways, so like buffing our offense isn't the greatest thing, I guess. Grenades are nice. Cooldowns are kind of meh. Definitely not worth fighting at 850 health. If I'm fighting at 850 health, I'm picking one of these two for sure. Not any of these 3. Sub-Zero is up here as well. Probably put him just behind Motaro. He does give us health, so that's nice. And a parry and extra damage and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I'd somewhere in this range. You know, if this is ordered, I'd put him somewhere around here as far as best cameos for Quan. And then if you can count, we have Tremor here. Tremor's a top 3 cameo for Quan. Now, that being said, I would be willing to entertain the idea of switching Tremor and Darius, depending on what I find with Darius. Because, like, yeah, Tremor used to give 100 health, but now only gives 50, but still does a lot more things, like give us combo damage off of all sorts of crazy conversions. Gives us extra projectiles for our zoning. Ambush, it makes all of the moves technically in ambush as well. I'm not really sure that Crystalline meshes with Quan too much. That is an option. I usually just use it to morph into something else to use it as an ambush, but yeah, there could be a time when I switch now that Darius gives 100 and put Darius up there and then Tremor down there, or possibly even Jax, but I don't really think there's too much more sauce with Jax. But yeah, that's it. That's my cameo tier list with Quan. The only thing I might move is maybe Madame Bo, just because for the sole factor that she does give health. I think I might put her here. Maybe, yeah, I think she maybe belongs there. But if you found dirt with Madame Bo and Quan, just let me know. But yeah, that's it. That's the end of playing every cameo with Quan Chi project. I hope you enjoyed it. And as always, if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like because it really helps me out. And subscribe if you haven't, because I make new videos almost every single day. Hashtag Bonehawks, all that stuff, and we'll see all you Bonehawks in the next video.
Accept your death.